Hey Pandalings, this is the Black Belt Panda, and this is the second episode of the Bunker series, the Redstone Bunker series. And in this episode we're going to start off by getting some nice toggleable lighting in here. So the first thing we want to grab is some redstone lamps. And the way I'm going to do this is go across here. Let's see, I'm going to leave 1, 2, 3 spaces. So there we go. And then I'm going to move down 1, 2, you can see here 1, 2, 3 here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's too far. So you can see I'm making my lights 3 blocks apart. So you can see it's 3 blocks from the wall in all directions here. So 3 blocks from the wall here. So if we go over 1, 2, 3. Make our third row, and that should be sufficient enough to light up this whole room. Now we're going to need a lever, and I'm going to place the lever right here. So this is the lever that's going to turn the lights on and off. And what we want to do is break through this wall here, and we want all of our redstone to be surrounded by obsidian so that it can't be destroyed from the outside. So I'm going to place a piece of obsidian here, get some redstone, and place that on there. And you see when we flip the lever, the power transfers through this block and powers the redstone behind it. And the same thing happens with a torch. If we place a torch here, you can see the torch is normally on, but when you apply a signal to a torch, it inverts it. In other words, it turns it off. So you can see on and off. The reason we want the signal inverted is because we want the redstone to turn on when we flip the switch up, just like a regular light switch. So that's what we're going to do. So next thing we want to do here, place some obsidian there. Again, want to make it blast proof. We're going to come up here, put obsidian above the torch, and then on top of that obsidian, redstone. And you'll see the torch activates the redstone. The signal travels through this block and turns the redstone on. So now, if we go up a little bit more, you can see there's the ceiling. And if we go a little bit in, clear out this area. Get some light so we can see what we're doing. Right about there you should see, yep, there's our lamps. So what you want to do is clear out a nice 2 block high area above your entire ceiling. I'll be back once I have that done. Okay, so I've cleared out this area, and I actually hit some spots with some gravel, and if that happens to you, what you want to do is fill in the whole area. That way if anyone ends up digging through there, they don't fall through and land on your obsidian and realize there's something here. So just fill any gravel holes in with some dirt or stone. Okay, so those are filled in. The next thing you want to do is, just like we did in the main room, you want to surround this entire room with obsidian. And this will just make sure that your redstone can't be destroyed with explosions. Because that would be bad, especially if you had more than just lighting going on. And the reason we're clearing out a nice big space like this is because eventually we will have more than lighting going on. So we're going to want a nice little space above our bunker to be able to wire up some fancy things. So just go ahead and replace the walls and the ceiling with obsidian. Don't forget to fill in those gravel holes. Okay, got that done. Definitely spam the place with torches because we don't want any mobs spawning up here when the lights are off. So the next thing we're going to do is here where we had this redstone, we're going to run this redstone up, and we're going to need a redstone repeater just to make sure that the signal strength doesn't die out too soon. We're going to place that right here. Then just run the redstone You can put it right on top of the lamps, like so, just to activate all the lamps. Okay, once that's done, all the lamps should be on and working. As you can see here, you don't actually have to cover the last lamp with redstone, so if you want to save 3 redstone, just bring the redstone up to this lamp and it'll light both. So now what we want to do is make sure that this area is surrounded with obsidian, and you can actually cover that part up there, and we're going to just close this in. Oh, not there. Like so. And just close this in. I like to be thorough with the obsidian just to make sure. We close up the wall. You can see the lights are on. Flip the switch and all the lights are off. Flip it again. All the lights are on. Very simple. So now we can get rid of all these torches here. And the room should still stay pretty bright. Oh, got some gravel from when I was working on the ceiling there. Okay. That's all the torches. You can see we still got plenty of light. If we turn the switch off, it gets dark. And no mobs can spawn in here because of our floor. Very nice. So now if you want, you can turn the light off when you leave. And I suck at these doors. And when you come back, you won't have to worry about mobs because they can't spawn in there. Very nice. So just a neat little feature, just because we can. Turn the lights back on. Nice. And maybe in a future change, we'll make the lights flicker when you turn them on, just like real fluorescent lights. That's a thought. But I don't know. It'd be kind of neat. It'd be not really functional, but very nice looking. Yes. So the next thing I want to do is figure out our proximity to the outside of this mountain. So I'm just going to break through here. I'm going to keep going until I reach here. And I'm just going to leave a little marker to let me know exactly where that is. You might want to use something that people can't see if you plan on working on a mountain like this on a server. But I'm not too worried about it, so I'm just going to leave some oak wood. Oops, didn't want to break that. Alright, so this piece of oak wood here will let me know how close I am to the outside on that side. I'm going to come over here and do the same over here. I'm just going to keep going until I reach the outside. Place some oak wood so I can see it from the outside. And then in line with the door here, which is also in line with the lamps, I'm going to go in this direction. And again, gravel. This mountain's got lots of gravel, unfortunately, but we can work with it. Gravel's a pain in the butt. Here's a neat trick. Take a torch, place it on the ground. Breaks all the gravel. Pretty cool. Alright, let's keep going in this direction. Got plenty of space this way to work with. That's nice. We'll block that up. I'm just going to put a torch in here so I can see. And again, if you got gravel falling like that, it's a pretty good idea to just replace it with something that isn't going to be too suspicious. There we go. And if we go to the outside, oh, I made it through the door in one shot. Look at that. We can see where we're at on the mountains here. So you can see that's where we are on that side. Come around to the back. That's where we are there. And if we come around to this side, you can see... Oh, there it is. That's where we are there. So we have plenty of space right along through here. Definitely lots of space right in here. So we're going to have to remember that so we can build into there. But otherwise, not a whole lot of distance between the walls of the bunker and the walls on the outside of the mountain. And the reason I'm marking these out is because we're going to eventually have some pretty neat contraptions that's going to let us open up the side of this mountain, fire out of it, just give us a nice little outpost we can see out of. And I would also like to go upwards, and this kind of lets me see here, not quite in the center, so a little bit offset from that top one there, but that's not bad. We can work with that. So I'm going to go back in here. Head on in. And you can see we're very close on this side. So this would be more of an extension if we wanted to have a nice little thing opening up over here. And over on this side, we're pretty close as well. But like I said, we've got lots of space just over here a little bit. And a good bit of space going this way. So we can make a few more rooms. What we're going to want to do is probably find a good central location that's going to move to the different rooms. Probably going to branch both down and up a little bit at a time. Definitely not going to do it all at once. But as we add new rooms, they'll be functional. So if we want to go with, let's say, a room we can open up the side of the mountain, shoot out of, then we'll just do that one room first, finish that up, and then move on to the next one. But for now, what we want to set up is our central room. This is the room that's going to have the access to the rest of the rooms. And I think I want that kind of down in here a little ways. Let's see. If I tunnel straight up, get hit by gravel. Okay. Should be able to reach the top of the mountain. It should be a good distance too. There we go. So yeah, here we are in the top of the mountain. Kind of off a little ways. Let's see. If we want to go about here, how many blocks is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks. So let's see where that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's pretty much right here at this wall. So we could probably work with that. We can make this area here. If we open it up a bit, make this sort of the central access point. Oops, get that obsidian in there. Always remember to surround your rooms with obsidian. So I'm just going to tunnel this out here. Okay, so I tunneled that out, filled in the little gravel holes, and I filled in that hole I burrowed up to the top of the mountain with dirt. So what we're going to want to do now is kind of lay out a nice little central area. So we want to plan out how we want this to work. I'm partial to ladders when it comes to bunkers because it takes up very little space. So probably, so we're going to want a room back here. And if we branch out left and right and downward as well, and I'm thinking maybe a post, something like that, and then the ladders, grab some here, so the ladders will run up the post and they'll go down and up. So that's the plan. So for now, I'm going to place obsidian all through the floor here. And probably through the ceiling too. Alright, so I got the obsidian laid out. I didn't do the walls yet because I plan on tearing them down pretty much here in a minute. This was pretty much the center, from what I gathered, of the mountain up at the top portion of the mountain. Probably want the post to be here then. Just place that down. And I'll just throw some ladders on there for now, just to get an idea of where it is, because the obsidian can, it tends to blend together. If I stand over here, it blends together. It's kind of difficult to see. Okay, so that'll branch up, that'll branch down, then we can go left and right here, like that. If we wanted to, we could even put in walls here, and we could have a door We come out that way, that way. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Might do that then. So then if I go to here, I'll just use a wooden door for now, because it's easy to keep open. There we go. Yeah, I like that. So and that's kind of like, this is the main room here. And then this branches off into other rooms. Very nice. I like. Okay, so pretty much got that planned out pretty well now. So next thing we want to do is an emergency back exit. This is always something you want to have in a bunker in case for whatever reason your front entrance becomes compromised. Then you have a way to get out. So we're going to come around here. Oh, not on the ladder. Yeah, definitely through this way, I think. Because when we change this up to an iron door, maybe we'll put a lock on the inside here, so that once you enter it, you lock it from here, people can't get through, or at the very least slows them down. And then probably right here is going to be our, set the time here, our secondary entryway, which is more really of an emergency exit than anything. What we're going to have is probably some water down at the bottom, and it's just going to be a real simple run out, jump down into the water. Yeah, sounds like a plan. Alright, so what we want to do then is definitely frame this part here in obsidian. For now we're going to just place a doorway here. This is going to be pistons in the future. Basically controlling the wall here. It'll retract the wall for us, and then we'll be able to run out here. And I'll probably set it up so that, let's see, if you were to activate the lock, which would be an emergency lock, you know, doesn't really serve any purpose other than emergencies, then these pistons here will open up the doorway, and then you can run out and land in the water. That sounds pretty good. So the first thing we're going to want to do then is place the water. I'm in creative mode, so it's not really a big deal if I fall, but if you're doing this in survival, obviously, you're going to want to make your way down here real careful, etc., etc. Don't want to have a water stream coming down. That might be suspicious. But if you've got an area with lots of water, like this one here, then it's very easy. We're just going to knock out a couple of these blocks here and find our doorway right there. So we're just going to make a nice little water area here, and we don't want it too square because that can be suspicious. If you look over here, you can see the water's got some, you know, variety to the edges. So we're gonna give it some variety here. We'll just fill it in like so, and maybe even put a block right there, and maybe one right there. Maybe not there. Don't want to accidentally hit that if we fall. So I'm just going to break these back a little. And that looks pretty good. So let's test that out. If we come up here to the doorway. Okay. So let's say you're running out through here. All you have to do is run. Oh. See? That's why we test things. So we don't want that one there. Might even want to bring this out a little bit more. So maybe right about like that. Then we can break that. Do that. Take that one out. Do like that. Fill in the running water. Because obviously we don't want running water. Just kind of looks like a natural little water pool. Kind of fits in the area with the rest of these. One other thing you can do, get some sand. Find the sand here. Sand, sand. There's the sand. And we can put some sand down. So you can see here, there tends to be little patches of sand around the water. So what we can do is just a little patch of sand right there. Maybe right here. Oh, get out of the water here. Something like that. Make it look really natural. If you come over here, if you look at a natural source of water, you can see pretty much what it looks like. You can see the grass is spread down through there. There's dirt there. This is clay. So if you wanted to, you could put some clay down. Let's see, where's clay? Clay. I really wouldn't recommend it so much, just because, you know, someone might be after clay and they might grab your clay, and who knows, they might block up your water source while they're at it, which would not be good. You can see the grass is already starting to spread, so that's good. But it looks pretty natural, so let's give it another test. So we run out and down, land in the water, perfect, and then you can run away. Or, you know, head to your secondary base, grab some weapons, whatever your goal is. But generally this is a runaway tactic. This is your emergency escape. This is when your base has been compromised. So, let's see. Should probably go ahead and get those pistons set up then, and probably get a lockable door running for the front. Oops. I gotta be careful with that ladder there. I might move it back one. I think I will. Let's move this ladder back 1 block. Back. Right on top of where that torch was. Grab ladder. And ladder. Put another torch out because it's dark. But yeah, I think we'll get this door set up so it's lockable, and then do the same thing with this door here, which we're going to change out to iron, and then rig up the pistons. That sounds like a plan. Alright, so I just looked at how much I've got recorded so far, and I've got a few minutes to spare, so we're going to go ahead and get the locking system for this door working. Now, the overall idea here is that we'll have a lever somewhere maybe about there that normally will be off, which will allow us to open the door from the inside and from the outside, and when we flip it on, it should lock the door so that we can still open it while we're inside of it, but the button on the outside won't work. So nobody can get in. Essentially locks the door. Good for slowing someone down if you've got someone chasing you. You can just come around and flip the switch real quick. So let's go ahead and figure out how we can do this. Now the first thing we're going to have to do is move this button here back 1 block. Now it won't open the door like that, but that's okay because we're going to add some redstone to it that will allow it to function. And you know what? I'd actually like it better on this side. I like to have my buttons on the right hand side. Probably because I'm right-handed, but yeah, so that should work. I'm just gonna put that there to open the door, or I can just break the door, whatever. Alright, I need a new one now. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to break in behind here, and we're going to basically wire up some new stuff. Alright, we're going to need this to go here, and I'm probably going to have to open up a good significant area here, a significantly sized area, in order to get this to work. Can I break this block? What about the one above it? Yes, I can. Awesome. Okay. That didn't mess it up? No. Cool. Sweet. Alright. So every time I'm going to put redstone down, I'm just going to put down some obsidian so that the block is blast proof. When I'm done, I'm going to surround the whole area in more obsidian. So what I'm doing now is basically just working my way under the hallway area we had. Put up a torch so I can see what I'm doing. And to the other side, where I'm going to work back up, because the button, if you remember, was on the right side. We need this lock to head over towards that button. Let's see, clear out a little bit more space here. Looks like we can run straight under from here now. Alright, so that's about how far I'm going to go for now. I'm going to wire up that button so it functions. So we're going to go around here, and I'm just going to break through this area here so that I can work in here. Alright, now the button's here, so on the back we're going to put a torch, obsidian, I'm going to go up here, redstone. Now this should be, yes it is, the roof here. And the next thing I'm going to do is find the door. In order to do that, I'm just going to go around to this side. I'm going to punch a hole right there and put that block back. So now when I come up here, there's the hole I just punched. So this is the top of the door. This is where the redstone signal needs to go. So all I have to do is run it down there like so. But we need the signal to be inverted. As you can see, it's always powered. We don't want that. So what we're going to do, put another redstone torch on top like that. And now, when we push the button, it opens the door. So I'm going to walk through this a little bit slow. So you can see behind the button, redstone torch. When you push the button, it turns the torch off. It applies the signal to the torch, which inverts it. When that torch turns off, it's no longer inverting this torch, so this torch will turn back on and supply power to this redstone here, which goes down above the door and opens the door. So the button opens the door, a little bit more complicated than just putting a button in front of the door, but the reason we do this is so we can lock it rather than just letting anybody in. So now, next step is basically to make sure that this torch, when locked, can never turn on. Because if this torch turns on, the door opens. And to do that, what we need to do, clear out a little space here so we can work. Okay, that should be good, I hope. We need a redstone repeater. If I can get over here. Facing the block with the torch. Now when a redstone signal is applied to this repeater, it powers the block that this torch is sitting on, and as long as this block is powered, this torch will never turn on. So that's the goal. Now what I'm going to use this time is a neat little trick. So here you get to learn a nice redstone trick. We're going to do some vertical transmission. And normally you would make a little staircase if you wanted to go up, but I want to be a little bit more compact, so I'm using glowstone. The nice thing about glowstone is that you can use it for vertical transmission and you don't have to worry about blocking it. So that might be a little bit difficult to understand, but I'm going to show you here. I'm going to clear out this area. And I'll fill in anything afterwards that needs to be filled in with obsidian. So that's probably the easy way to do it. I'll put redstone here. Now if I go down here, you can see there's our redstone from our lock. If I put a piece of glowstone right here, put redstone on that. Now you can't tell because it doesn't look like it's connecting, but it is actually connecting. It's the nice thing about glowstone. So I'm going to put another one here. And then one more right here. Piece of obsidian. And now if you look, the redstone is actually traveling vertically even though the blocks are interfering with the connections. That's because glowstone allows vertical transmission. Well, diagonally. So, very nice little trick. Gonna get rid of that there. And now our lock should function. So, next thing I'm gonna do is try to get out of this maze here. Alright, so now the lock is turned on and the button does not open the door. Very nice, that's what we want to see. Now if I come around here, somehow, I'm just gonna open up a little path. Now it can be a little cramped working in these little spaces. It just takes a little bit getting used to. Now if I turn the lock off, and we go on through, the button opens the door again. And if you look, now that the lock is turned off, no redstone signal. So this block is no longer getting power from this repeater. That means when the torch from the button turns off, this torch will turn on. So I hope that was easy enough to understand. Tried to make it make sense. If not, let me know, and I will attempt to explain it better in the next episode. But the next thing we're going to do is just cover everything up here with obsidian. I'm going to do that off camera because it's a little bit tricky and probably will get stuck several times. But when you're doing this, just make sure if you are making the whole thing blast proof like I am, that you put obsidian down wherever you're going to be laying redstone. Now the exception obviously is this glowstone, but I'm going to be surrounding the glowstone with obsidian. So I will be back when I've got that done. Alright, so I just got the whole room surrounded in obsidian. I left some space to walk through, just in case I need to change anything, and I probably will. So I recommend you do the same thing. Just leave enough space to get through. If you can fly, great. Makes it a little bit easier. Oh, I missed a spot right here. There we go. Makes it a little bit easier if you can fly, obviously, but if you can't fly, definitely make sure you leave yourself some ladders or staircases to get up and down. Just make sure, again, they're surrounded in obsidian. And I just left it open up top here. I'm probably going to do the same right here, just to make it a little bit easier to get into the wiring. Because what I would like to do is set up an alarm system so that whenever anybody tries to use the button on the outside of the door, when the door is locked, it sets off an alarm letting anybody in the base know that somebody is trying to get in. And I think I'll probably use wooden doors as the alarm itself because they're very loud and noisy when they're opened and closed repeatedly, and it may actually scare off any potential intruders. But I think that will be a project for another episode because I'm pretty much out of time here. I don't want to let this episode run on too long. So yeah, next episode we'll probably get to the alarm system. So when this is turned on, the alarm is turned on. And then when anybody tries to use the button from the outside, you'll know from the inside. You will definitely hear quite the racket. I would also like to get into a blast-proof door for this area here because I'd like to make this kind of the panic room. So if you were being chased, for example, you could come in here, turn the lock on, which would slow them down because then they'd have to mine through the iron door or through the obsidian. And then you can run through here, maybe another switch here, you can turn on the blast-proof door, and I've got a pretty good idea for that, a neat little trick. They will not be able to get through the door. They can't blow it up, and they can't mine through it. So they're actually going to have to go around it by mining through the obsidian. That should give you plenty of time to get out. So the idea is when you flip that lever and turn on that blast-proof door, the wall back here will open up and allow you to run out to our little emergency pond, our little puddle down there, and then the wall should close up again behind you, and by the time your chaser, your attacker, intruder, whatever, actually manages to mine through the obsidian and make it into this room, you're long gone and they can't tell where you went. So that's the end goal, and I think once we get that done, because I mean it is important to have a panic room, so that is definitely a priority. But once the panic room here is finished and we get our nice little security system in place, we can start branching off into some extra rooms, some secondary and tertiary rooms, maybe with armories, defense systems. We'll definitely come up with some cool stuff. But for now, I think that just about does it. So thank you for watching. This is the Black Belt Panda, and I will see you in the next video.